Zaya, let's talk about it. So we have a completely clear glass here, okay? So you go pick it up from the dealership or your new used car to you have something, you go, there's no protection here. Tell us the confusion on what happens when somebody picks it up and there is some type of tint look to the back of the vehicle.
Exactly. A couple situations can happen, right? And some of these situations suck. I can't tell you how many times we get customers that come to the shop and they tell us that, oh, my vehicle's already tinted, the dealership took care of it for me. Well, sadly, what mostly happens is they tint the front glass and then the rear glass is just dyed glass from the manufacturer. Now, what is dyed glass? It doesn't have any UV protection and it doesn't have any heat rejection. It's just purely for security purposes and aesthetics, just like this Lexus has over here. You can tell that the front glass is much lighter than the rear, but there is no tint on the back. And the way you can tell that is if we open this door real quick, and we'll bring you guys in on a close-up on the footage, but right over here, you'll notice there's no edge to the glass whatsoever, okay? And that's how you can tell whether your glass does have tint or not. So don't be fooled by the dealership when they tell you, hey, your glass is tinted all the way around and they charge you $1,000 for quote-unquote tinting. Reality, what most dealerships are doing, not all, but most, they're just tinting your two front to match your rear glass that are just dyed and have no protection whatsoever. So that is something to keep in mind, guys.
And just remember, with any type of film product, whether it's PPF or tint, you will be able to feel a ridge. Okay, it's not going to magically meld to your glass where you can't feel an edge, right? It is on there securely, but like you said, you will feel something. It feels like normal glass. Yeah. There is no tint there.
Exactly. Even if you do a light file on the edge of the tint, which what a lot of us do here at the shop to get a better finish, you might not see that edge, but like Nick said, you will feel a slight ridge or edge of the film because there's a thickness to that film that isn't leveling perfectly with the glass.
So let's talk about a little bit of installation because we are going to jump into it here. Like you said, let's talk about filed edges. And let's just talk about what you can expect or what you should think is acceptable as a consumer. Because look, you and I have had picky consumers and we love those because they keep you honest and keep your work really elite. But the question becomes, what is the distance people should be looking for on their top edge?
Yeah, great question, my man. So it's not an exact measurement, right? But I would say about a fingernail thickness or so is kind of the distance that you're looking for. You don't want a gap too big, but a gap is acceptable at the end of the day.
Yes.
And just like our paint protection film, window tint as well. The main things about window tint, why it's there, it's to protect the passengers, the heat rejection, and the shade that you're looking for. It's not meant to make your glass look perfect, all right?
Yeah,
so there
point.
are limitations on what we can do. We live on planet Earth. There's dust. Even though we do our best to keep the shop clean, we have commercial air filtration units in the shop as well that we utilize. You might have a speck or two of contamination around your tint installation, and that is completely normal, okay? So it's just something to keep in mind. There are expectations that need to be set, realistic expectations for a quality tint job, because like you said, we've had customers in the past that come in, they find one piece of contamination throughout their whole tint install. I'll tell you right now, that is an amazing installation.
Yes.
There's shops that set an expectation. It's okay to have 3 to 4 pieces of contamination on each piece of glass being installed out there, and they still pass that perfectly fine.
Yeah, so this is a great point. And one of the things you need to realize, the bigger the piece of film I'm working with, so windshields, rear doors, you look at how big the glass is here, you are going to see a few more contaminants usually.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you may see 1 to 2 here, you may see 3 to 4 tiny ones on your windshield. Here's the thing to keep in mind about contaminants as well. You won't see them 2 weeks from now because it'll just blend in with your eyesight, right? Yeah. You're picking that out when you first get and see everything. That's when there's the most moisture, okay, which also makes things look worse at the beginning. So give it, we say at my shop, give it 2 weeks, okay? Let the heat, let the elements, give it 2 weeks. Very rarely does somebody after 2 weeks go, this is unacceptable. So just remember when you're picking up your car, there's an acceptable level. Now again, you got big gaps here at the top. You need to be concerned about the installation. Yeah. You're talking tiny gaps or even a filing situation. And also you need to think about this. I know you know this. Filing should probably cost you a little bit extra. Yeah. Okay, because it's a lot more labor. There's a lot that can go wrong. File can catch something. You're then restarting that piece. So if you want all of these things, the thing to do is to ask for them and expect to pay a price, because now you're adding more man hours, you're adding more time. And one of the things that I say all the time is the bigger pieces, let it sit for 2 weeks, then come back and take a look at it. And I guarantee you won't see acceptable shops, great shops to work with. They're not going to leave something with a bunch of contaminants.
And that is such a great point. You know, we do our absolute best to get the vehicle to our standard, which is typically the vast majority of our customer standards as well.
Yeah.
You know, we do things in a way, we have systems and procedures and expectations placed for all of our technicians to make sure that you're happy at the end of the day. So if there is something else that you require, for example, like the filing, we don't include that as standard. It's in the description of the service as well.
Sure.
That's something, if you request us, we'll get it done for you. So make sure, as a consumer, just to do your due diligence when you are getting a Tint installation, and research that company as well. Because Tint is that thing where you don't know if it's ceramic or not. And
Yes.
the key tell sign to know if you're actually getting ceramic on your glass and not some crappy dye tint is the price point, sadly.
Yes.
You know, there's not that many people out there, not that many companies out there that have the kahunas, I guess, if you want to say, to lie face to face to consumers and put on crappy dye tint and charge them for ceramic tint. It's slim to none. So when you go and shop around for tint and you hear one reputable company giving you a $900 or $1,000 quote, and then another company for the same quote unquote tint for $300, something is wrong.
So when we talk about picking a shop, probably one of the things you and I see the most is people price shop.
Yeah.
And we certainly understand that. We price shop cars, we price shop everything, right? That's just the nature of the beast. It's comparing apples to apples that becomes a problem. Okay, so when we're bringing you in on my new daily driver, which all you're hearing about through our different channels, I'm at a company like 48 Detailing. Yeah, we could have done it. First of all, I'm down in Phoenix for Barrett Jackson, and I wanted to come and show a great shop. Understand that great shops cost money to do business with.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have seen, this is now, I'm entering in my 25th year since I started detailing. One of the things consumers, and for all of you out there watching, don't realize happened is COVID changed everything. And what happened is you started to see a real price difference. It costs a lot more to do business for you today in Arizona than it did 4 or 5 years ago. The result of that is now you get those price differences. Somebody comes in for a tint job, like you said, $1,000, and then they go down the street and the guy says $500. The consumer's got to be aware there is something going on there, whether it's choice of product or you're going to come and there's going to be a tint gap like this.
Exactly.
So walk people through. You've been in business a long time now. You have a lot of experience. Something you think customers miss in the change of the economy and how much it costs you to do business?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many variables, so many. It's hard to cover all of them. I mean, everything from quality manufacturers becoming not quality manufacturers anymore.
That's a good point.
You know, we always think that the economy affects us, just us little guys, but there are a lot of big boy publicly traded manufacturers out there that used to make quality film.
Yes.
And all of a sudden the economy took a turn on them, and now they're struggling, getting desperate, and finding cheaper alternatives to that quality film that they used to use.
Yeah, so let's talk about what you're getting at. First of all, many companies don't make their own film.
Vast majority.
Yeah,
though,
there's
to be
very
honest with you.
few actual global manufacturers of film. That's fine. What's happened, though, is as like you said, publicly traded companies or even large companies that aren't publicly traded have gotten more desperate over the last 12 to 24 months. They've changed their manufacturers out. So they may have had a partnership that lasted a decade. The formula was great. The film looked great. They start panicking, and now they're buying film from a cheaper manufacturer. Because just like we know consumers and all of us try to save money, so do the manufacturers who don't manufacture their own product.
Yeah.
And so one of the it's such a great point, is one of the things we have to understand. I get called, and very rarely, I think you're the same way, where somebody brings up, do you have XYZ film? I think as a consumer, that's a big no-no to me. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because if I'm picking the shop, I'm picking the shop because I think they're going to pick the right people to be in business with. The odds that I'm going to go on the internet and say, hey, this company, you know, because they may advertise at a racetrack that you're at or advertise on the internet, I'm here to say that you need to trust the shop to be in business with the right film company, because you're the one doing it all day.
Yep.
Right? That's what I think. I had a conversation yesterday with a guy. He's asking for a specific brand. for no reason than he knows the name. He doesn't know that that film company has had a rough 24 months. He has no idea that the film that I carry at my shop is exponentially clearer, better, longer lasting, better adhesive, better for his car. And again, I'm not saying it because I carry it. It's because that company he referenced has had a really tough 24 months.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's our name, our reputation, and our livelihood on the line. Not that big corporation and all the chairmans that are making hundreds of millions of dollars every single year, right? So we want to make sure we do business with the right people, because if we don't, we're going to get hit at the end of the day. So that's something to keep in mind. I would rather trust the person I'm speaking to in person more so than the massive corporation that is quote unquote giving me a quality film, right? Because it might be the same brand, it might be the same name, but it possibly might not be actually the same film that they've been using that created the reputation that they have currently.
And you have multi different companies in that situation. It's not one we're just talking about. So I think the other thing is, let's talk about this thing that you know so well as building your reputation. Guys, go to the mechanic with a great reputation, and I got news for you. He's going to pick the right products to put in your car, the right parts. He's going to have the right distributors to deal with. We have gotten to a place, and I certainly understand as you do, where consumers have been burned in the aftermarket. They've been burned by a mechanic. They've been burned. The other thing is, a lot of those stories I hear are probably like yours, where they start with the, hey, I got a good deal. And then they talk about being burned. And I understand that, but the world of good deals is filled with people that have been burned.
And usually the people that have been burned do not like to say that they've been burned.
Yes.
But they love to brag about when they got the good deal and the 1 out of 10 chance that good deal actually turned out good.
Yeah. And by the way, if somebody's giving nothing but good deals, they're not going to be in business.
Yeah.
Right? So again, just like when buying a car, just like when putting on tint or putting on PPF or ceramic coating, the thing is that there are people that have been burned. You and I know that.
Yep.
And we know that some people are not operating above board. I think it's easier today to find the people above board, but you also have to be willing to pay the price. Exactly. And so that price, just so everybody knows, film is exponentially more expensive than it was 4 years ago. We have instances where that film is now 30, 40, 60, 100% more expensive than it was just 4 years ago. And so when you go into that guy that gave you a price once upon a time and you go, well, I did my car 7 years ago, I mean, we're just not in that world anymore. And I think a lot of people are finding that hard to accept.
Last time I checked, the Toyota Camry isn't $15K either. You know, I have customers paying $45,000 for a mid-level Camry now.
Yeah, it just, and again, such a good point. We talk about cars on the Clutch Culture podcast. We talk about it on Pints. We talk it on this channel. One of the things I want people to know is when cars go up exponentially, everything attached to cars goes up exponentially.
Exactly.
And so, again, I don't know where we're going to use this, guys, if we can use it, but I thought it was important to do.
Right now, what Jimmy is doing, so we went ahead and did a custom bulk installation on the front windshield. Right now, what we're doing is we're getting the sides and the rears printed out because we have patterns available on the system. So what you see Jimmy is working with right now is our GraphTech plotter. It's dedicated for our tint installations. This speeds up the process for us and gives us more exact cuts on all the side glass and roll up and roll down windows. If we were to go ahead and hand cut each one of the windows the same way as we did on the front windshield, it would take a very, very long time. And even though Jimmy and Dee are very skilled installers with a knife and make amazing cuts, we're going to have more consistent laser precise cuts with the system that we have here. So in combination with the software, very expensive software, over $600 a month that we pay for the software with all the patterns, the computer system, and then the plotter as well, that can cost anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 depending on what type of printer that you purchase. All that in combination with the customization that Jimmy and Dee do on the system to get the patterns looking exactly how we want them, will get us a better install overall on the Lexus over here. So how often do we use the system to go ahead and print out our tint? Well, more often than not, that is what we're doing. Typically, when we use a customized pattern is on an older vehicle where we don't have it on the system, but luckily for this Lexus, we did have the sides and the rears available. The front windshield, we did not, so that's why we went ahead and did our custom cut install on there. But 99% of the time, especially for all the new vehicles on the market, we do utilize patterns to go ahead and give you that exact finish and speed up the process for us when it comes to installation. And when I say speed up the process, it doesn't make a 6-hour install become a 2-hour install. We're talking about 30 minutes to an hour worth of saved time, but when you're doing 2-3 cars a day, that's a whole big difference when it comes to time savings for a tint installation.